we did get the executive order from Biden around crypto. I think that was basically accelerated due to everything going on in the Ukraine. The details are light, but I think the industry is, at least at first blush, encouraged because it's a generally sort of supportive framework for this being a new technology, something that we need to nurture, but something we need to basically put more of a framework, more of a regulatory environment around. I think the bigger question, at least in my mind, is at least in the Treasury release that was put out, there was sort of references using the word like responsible digital assets. So I don't know if that's sort of a veiled threat from an ESG standpoint. But anyway, they talk a lot about stable coins and, sort of both the opportunity and, what's needed. But yeah, we're sort of at the beginning here. I'm sure we'll get a lot more as we move forward and actually start to hear what some of these agencies are thinking. But I'll leave it to JT to go into more detail.
Yeah, it's just our two speakers, Josh, did talk a little bit about this, and it is a whole of government approach, what they call a whole of government approach to regulation, to oversight, and in some cases, environmental impact, as you mentioned, the ESG aspect of this. It's going to marshal the resources of Treasury, Fed, Commerce, SEC, all these guys under one umbrella. And I think the way I understand it is that they're going to issue reports. And they say 2 to 4 months, but having been through this before, we're looking at 3, 6, 7 months. Those reports will lead to regulation. So I don't believe we're looking at regulation in 3 to 6 months. We're looking at reports on these aspects of it. And secondly, as you mentioned, our previous two speakers, especially Kristen Smith last week at the Blockchain Association, there was a wake-up call from the industry when on the infrastructure bill, they tacked on that advisor language. And then there was a tax piece taxing the industry in another piece of legislation, sort of under the radar. So the interesting thing that's happening on the Hill, or an interesting thing from an industry standpoint, is that they are marshaling their resources right now. That was a wake-up call for them. So they now, in the calls I had with Kristen and other folks at the Blockchain Association, they're actively on Capitol Hill helping shape legislation. They're actively in the agencies right now trying to get ahead of the curve. Again, don't expect regulation in 3 to 6 months. I do believe we're looking at reports that will lead to legislation at some point in 2023.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.